Today I will be making bread pudding, and I'm doing this for the first time. These are the ingredients that I will be using to make my bread pudding. So I already go ahead and cut the bread slices into ice cube shapes, and I place them into this dish. And now I have my egg, butter, nutmeg, cinnamon, vanilla, milk, salt and sugar. So what I did is broke and placed both eggs into this dish, and then I slightly whisked them, and now I'm just getting ready to place the other ingredient in it. You know how much I love my almond milk, so I'm just placing or putting the first cup into the egg mixture. So this is the second cup, and I'm just putting that in as well, and then I'm gonna give it a good whisk and then continue to place the other ingredients in it. So what I did is to place the butter into the measuring cup and then put it into my microwave for 30 seconds and allow it to melt. And then now I'm adding it to the rest of the mixture. So I've read a lot of articles that talk about making bread pudding, and persons will ask, can we use brown sugar? Can we use white sugar? I rather to use the white sugar, what some people would call the granulated sugar. So I rather to use the white sugar. It's more refined and easy to dissolve. So I use 1 cup of white sugar, and bear in mind that my bread pudding, I will not be making any cream or anything to pour over it after it's finished baking. So I use 1 cup, so that is sweet enough for the pastry. So of course this bread pudding will take a lot of patience, especially just to mix the ingredients that have a lot of green, like the nutmeg, the cinnamon powder, and the granulated sugar. I wouldn't say that you need to use an electrical mixer, but if you have one and you want to use it, go right ahead. This is the baking tin that I will be using to bake my bread pudding. So I'm just gonna add a bit of vegetable oil and massage it round in the entire dish. Ensure that when I place my bread pudding mixture, it doesn't stick to the pan. So here I'm getting ready, and I'm just using my hand to just spread the bread cubes all over into the baking dish. Ensure that everything is properly even out. So guys, if you listen closely, you will hear my oven going off. This is just a signal to tell me that it is at the preheated temperature and I can now put my bread pudding in. Okay, so I'm just gonna get ready to pour the mixture on the bread. So whenever you're pouring the mixture, ensure that everywhere get a little bit of this mixture, because you want to ensure that the bread is soaked. And you will just do this, and I normally use a baking spoon or whatever utensil you have to kind of like press it down and ensure that everything is soaked, all the bread cubes are soaked into the mixture, and then you leave it for, what can I say, 5 minutes, and then after that you place it in your oven to bake. So here you have it guys, in the oven, and I place another baking tin below the pudding with water so that as it bakes, the water below it will actually bring up steam so that it keep the pudding moist. And you also want to test the pudding before you remove it, because I'm baking this for 45 minutes. As I always do, let me share a little bit of history with you. The origins of bread pudding go as far back as the early 11th century, when creative pennywise cooks sought to find a use for their leftover stale bread. Fast forward 2 centuries and bread pudding was popularized amongst lower classes and consequently became known in England as the poor man's pudding. However, in the 20th century, poor class, those in between, and the upper class are now making bread pudding and loved it. I walked into pastry stores and I'm seeing bread pudding being displayed on their display shelf. And now the recipes online are even more advanced with whipped cream and all different kind of sweet additive to spice the thing up. Did you remember? Did you remember when I said that this was my first attempt? Wow. The cinnamon took over this recipe. It took over this recipe. The smell is just terrific. I have to taste this. I just took it out of the oven, so it is very, very hot. But I have to taste this now. I can't wait. I just slice a square piece and look at the texture. Just look at that. So I'm sorry you're not here to taste this, but I'm just gonna taste this for you and let you know what's going on. So here I'm just observing this and I'm just gonna get down into it. Okay, so let me just zoom in to show you what I am actually seeing here. You see the quality of this thing? This is well done. So here goes. Oh my gosh, this is awesome.